How is Tyson Fury, who is like weighs fucking 260 pounds, how is he going to walk in this ring? And you saw Vlad Klitschko, they fucking knew they got caught. It was live on camera, man. Okay.
Yeah, they did.
And then what did they do? They took the foam out. So why did they take the foam out if they weren't cheating?
Live on camera, like when Fury got caught by the referee.
Yes, it is live on camera. It's live on
live.
What do you think about Fury? Johnny Nelson jumped in the ring and said, "Hey, someone's going to roll a knee," and the great Lennox Lewis jumped in with Johnny Nelson and said, "This is bad."
Yeah.
You know what Lennox Lewis said? Dirty play, Klitschko.
You've been a very naughty boy. Klitschko, you're a very naughty boy. We see your tricks, right? That's what happened.
What do you think about Tyson Fury saying he doesn't want to drink water around Klitschko because...
I wouldn't drink water, too. Look at him.
Mate.
Spike his water.
Yeah, man, because that happened. It happened to Lucas Brown. It happened to Lucas Brown. Lucas Brown fought in Russia.
It happened to Danny Green.
Claimed that his water was spiked. It was like the most insane thing. No one has ever heard of this before.
Did it show up in Wilder's drug test after the fight?
No, he couldn't piss blood because Fury beat the shit out of him. He couldn't piss for a day.
No, but
what'd you think about?
Did they find any drugs in Wilder's system after the fight? Any tranquilizers? Any muscle relaxants?
Didn't find a thing.
He didn't show his medical records to the public, so I don't know.
Okay, so this to me is like getting my bike stolen and then reporting it to the police a year later, right? If I thought my bike got stolen, I'd report it to the cops that day. So if I thought I got drugged, I'd be like, "Yo, check my blood sample, guys. I got drugged." Did he do that?
You ever heard of the saying "better now than never"?
Okay. Do you mind if we shift to one more topic? The dent in Wilder's skull.
We can shift. Go ahead.
Okay. If you get a fractured cheekbone or a fractured orbital bone in boxing, you get a year out the ring max. Look at Kell Brook, right? Look at Inoue. How long were they out after getting their cheekbones, orbital bones fractured?
Margarito. He had 12 months.
How long were they out the ring for? 6 months? A year? A couple months? Bullshit. You can't fight after getting a fracture in your face.
How many months?
I've had orbital surgery, lads.
How many months?
This is what I want to talk about, right? This is what I talk about, right? You can't dent bone. Bone breaks or bone fractures. If you had a fractured temple bone, right, how long do you think you'd be out of the ring for?
Life.
Yeah, a year? 2 years? How can you call for a rematch with a dude when you got a fractured skull? Either the rematch story is bullshit or the fracture story is bullshit because you wouldn't be cleared. You wouldn't get insurance. The board wouldn't let you fight, bro. Okay, if he legit had a fractured skull, I got punched right in the temple in sparring, and I had a huge swelling on my temple, and it made my temple look dented because the muscle around it was swollen. So that's what Wilder's got. He's just got a massive bruise on that bone next to your ear, and that is swelled up, but it makes his temple look indented because the tissue was swelled up around it. Okay, if you legitimately had an x-ray of your skull, like Wilder says he did after the autopsy, when he died, you wouldn't be allowed to fight for a year. So you ain't going to get a rematch with a guy that fractured your skull. You'd be recovering.
Can I ask you a question, guys?
Yeah.
Since you said...
What was the answer to that question, though?
Since you said Wilder should have reacted quicker to him accusing Fury of cheating, don't you think that Fury should have reacted quicker and showed us the gloves right after the right when he got accused of cheating?
Artman,
they've got the gloves, man. They got the gloves.
Showed the public the gloves. Why he didn't?
He doesn't have the gloves. The board keep them. The board. Do you know what they actually do after a fight? They cut the gloves. They cut the gloves into 4 pieces after a fight, and they examine them. They examine them like a cake cross section. They do that after every fight. They cut them up and they look inside it.
What do you think about Nicholas Asbury coming out and showing his gloves?
Wait, guys. Can I just ask you, what is your answer? What is your answer to the dent? Do you believe you would be allowed to fight a rematch with Tyson Fury if you legitimately got a broken bone in your head?
I believe he will be able to fight if he has an injury that's not as severe as what we're all perceiving it to be.
It's a bone.
Do you not think a dented bone in the skull is serious? Your brain is in your skull.
Listen,
that's a head trauma, man.
I don't think
that's a head trauma.
I've seen the picture. I wouldn't even classify it as the actual dent. The swelling looked very abnormal to me, though. It looks like he was hit with something.
Yeah,
that doesn't look like a regular.
Well, you saw his ear, man. His ear was bleeding. He got a punch in the ear, bro, and in the temple. Think about how big your fist is. Put your fist on the side of your head now, man. Put your fist on your ear.
How do you bleed in your ear? What's
you get a burst eardrum, man. You get a burst eardrum. You got a burst eardrum. That's what happened to Wilder. Did you not see his legs after that shot, man? He looked like he was fucking doing the stanky leg, right? For like a whole round afterwards.
Like he was looking like Lucas Brown, like you say. You say Lucas Brown got caught or whatever. You don't think Wilder was looking like that? He didn't have any similarities?
No, man, I don't. Fury was away from home, bro. When has an away fighter managed to go and corrupt a whole boxing organization away from home?
Have you ever seen Wilder?
That's the home decision. Like if that fight happened in England, right, I'd maybe give you a bit more credit and say, yeah, Fury could have maybe used the home advantage. But he was away from home. He was the foreign fighter. They haven't got that much clout, bro. Foreign fighters never have that much clout. Look at Lennox Lewis. Lennox Lewis fought Holyfield in Las Vegas and got robbed blind.
He was
the away fighter. I watched that fight live on TV, man. Like, I can't see an away fighter going to America and managing to somehow, what are you saying? He bribed the board? He bribed them to let him put shit in his glove?
No, but
or he bribed people to drug him?
I think
how do you do that away?
Let me ask.
I'm just genuinely interested.
That brings us to the next topic. What do you think about Fury being advised by internationally wanted mob boss Daniel Kinningham?
Who's he wanted?
Dude, there's always dirty money in boxing. Look at Don King. Do you remember that guy?
What about? I'm not talking about Don King. I'm talking about Daniel Kinningham.
What, is he not a gangster? Is he not a gangster?
That's a good point because Zab Judah lost and kept the belt after Carlos Baltimore beat him. So
yeah.
So we know how it works when the mob is involved in boxing. So again, answer the question. How do you feel about?
Yeah, very good point.
Okay, so
very good point.
That's a very good point. But to my understanding, Kinahan is an advisor, right? He also advises AJ. He also works with Eddie Hearn, but they don't admit that. They're just putting it all on Fury. They're using this to sneer.
They did admit that Eddie Hearn's been working with Daniel Kinningham for
yeah, but he's got to remain Mr.
Frank
Slick,
Warren.
Mr. Clean Eddie.
Warren.
Yeah, they all do it. So like, there's always been dirty money in boxing, man. Look at fucking Al Heyman. Like, come on, he's this mysterious character that barely shows his face on camera.
He's never been accused of these heinous acts.
Yeah, but
he's never been accused.
I've been accused.
People murdered. What are you talking about?
Okay, but if you get arrested, does that make you guilty, or does that mean you've been arrested and questioned? Because Kinahan's got no convictions.
Can I school you on some stuff here in America? In America,
yeah, man.
In America, there's drug dealers that never even see the drugs. You know that, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So you're telling me that it's physically impossible for this guy to be doing anything like this? He's just a guy that's scotch-free and everybody's picking on him?
Okay, so maybe Daniel Kinahan is using the boxing industry to launder his dirty money.
You don't think it's impossible for him to take advantage of the racial disparities in America and have the people believing a foreign white guy? Because in America, Tyson Fury is perceived as just a white guy.
The great white hope.
Think that they can take advantage of that, especially if there's, let's say, about $80 to $100 million involved?
Well, anything's possible, but I don't think that happened. I think the reach of his influence ends at money. I don't think he's got the clout to do what you're saying. That would be incredible.
I mean,
a guy goes to America and somehow manages to corrupt the whole team of trainers and the sanctioning body, and that's incredible.
We just talked about how Zab Judah kept the whole belt after he was beat for.
Do you know his company?
Stay again, bro.
You know his company's being sued by the fighter Jojo Diaz, former manager?
Yeah, I've read about that, but it seems a bit.
mean, they're accusing him
Yeah.
here. They're accusing him in Ireland. They're accusing him in the UK, and he's exiled, from these countries, and he's in Dubai. You don't think that he has
Yeah.
a good enough reach with $1 billion to get, maybe get a trainer
Well, this is a
to give somebody their
huge.
fighter a bottled water? You don't think he had $1 billion can't reach that type of level?
Okay,
That's
that is a
minuscule. That's
huge.
minuscule compared to
Anything's
what he's
possible,
done.
but that's a huge accusation to make. That's a huge accusation to make.
Look, here in America,
it's big, bro.
Can I put you on some game here? Here in America,
Sure, man.
Here in America, they just made a movie about a black leader in our community being assassinated by the government. So
Who was it?
For
Martin
us,
Luther
for
King.
Black American people, it's not hard to us to think that maybe that somebody conspired against us and got over us because how the system works.
Are you talking about Malcolm X or Martin Luther King? You talking about Malcolm or Martin?
Fred Hampton.
Yeah, we're talking about Fred Hampton. Fred Hampton. They just made a big movie about how our leader in our community was just trying to build up our community, and the government.
Who? Martin Luther King or Malcolm X?
You don't think that
who? Sorry, bro.
Sabotage?
Are you talking about Malcolm? Are you talking about Malcolm X and Martin Luther King?
Yes, they fall into the equation too, because
bro, from reading history, I undoubtedly think that Martin Luther King and Malcolm X were killed by the FBI and the CIA because they had power. They were giving black people rights. They were stopping, the fallout of the post fucking Jim Crow era in America, which is they're incredible people, bro.
So that's why
the FBI and the CIA killing Martin Luther King is different to a gangster, potentially bribing officials to rig a boxing match. I mean,
but we just talked about
one
that
is.
But
we're just. Do you know? You're a boxing historian, right? You like Muhammad Ali?
Yeah.
You like Muhammad Ali, right?
Yeah.
Do you know
Dude,
that
he's a legend?
Do you know
he's
there's been
legend,
accusations that the mob threatened Muhammad Ali, and he has
to
get?
I read his biography. I read his biography. He used to get calls at night. He used to get petrol bombs through his window, man. He used to get FBI agents hanging around outside his house.
He had to get a certain type of security to secure him. Do you know that?
Yeah.
Do you know Wilder doesn't have that type of stuff because he's just a man. He didn't think Wilder's fault is he didn't think that this type of stuff could happen to him, but it did happen to him.
I know, but okay. Do you know what I think happened? Okay. I think what happened is that this fight happened during Black History Month, right? And Wilder was the guy that actually brought race into the game. The Radio Raheem 400 years thing. Okay, I found that very strange that he was trying to tell another black guy about slavery because he's obviously aware of that, right? But Fury ain't that guy. Fury isn't a British white establishment guy. Fury comes from a persecuted community himself.
He does.
So the weird thing is, man, is that you're really putting that on the wrong guy.
You're right, but let me
honestly,
tell you something. You don't think that here in America that Americans don't see Fury as a gypsy? We see Fury as a white man. You don't think that?
Yeah, but that's wrong because he's literally he comes from the bottom of the barrel of white guys in England.
That's not my fault. That's not fault. That's not my father's fault. That's nobody's fault. That's just how the system
good point.
In America.
Good point, man. I gotta give you that. That's a good point.
The place that Fury fights at. So he's just perceived as a white man here. He's not perceived as a gypsy. A lot of people don't know.
But he's not. He's not that white guy. He's not that.
You're saying I totally understand. I totally understand. But through the lens and the eyes of Americans, we don't see that. We see a giant white man. And here in America, if you're a white man going against a black man, you're representing all of whiteness, not just the gypsies.
But don't you think that would have been better if Fury was an American white guy? That makes sense.
It's not my fault.
If Fury was an American white guy, that would make sense. But he's a British white guy, and it's not that battle. It's a different battle, bro.
Do you know Bob Arum said that Fury is something to the likings of American now? He's American now. Do you know what that means? It doesn't just mean that
Fury
has a dual citizenship. It means that he is perceived as a white man in America now.
Okay,
he's one of them.
If Fury was an American-born Great White Hope, I would give this theory more credit. But he's an English warrior. When has there been beef between white English people and Black Americans in recent history? This shit was centuries ago. You know, because you know we don't have that agenda.
We're literally watching the Queen get mad at a Black American right now. What are you talking about?
Oh yeah. Okay, so this is very true. You know, the British establishment is built on racism.
Exactly.